The South African video, probably you all remember, right? The guy looking for the active shooter, he looks for him, the guy from the back looking as well, and the guy from the back was ironically the first person who was able to acquire a trajectory to the threat. He pulled the trigger, but in the same time he pulled, what happened? The guy from the front stand up and moved to his line of fire, and he capped him in the head. Was this preventable? Could we have prevented it through training? For sure, right? Muzzle before flash, online rule, exactly. Contact right, contact left. Don't be lazy, don't sweep your friend head. First float the weapon, then put it on threat. It's pretty simple, guys, right? It's a box-shaped room. We start with that on purpose in order for me to understand what is your general level of understanding of CQB. And before we will discuss some of the issues in these rooms, I want to introduce you to the first terminology. So as you can see, we have here 4 corners in this room shape, right? Good. We like to divide them into 2 types, easy corners and hard corners. Easy corners are going to be those corners over there which are deeper into the room. The reason why there are easy corners is because as I'm making my way to the room, slicing or whatever, I can always address and, if needed to, fight with these corners from outside without forcing myself to run into the room and committing to other corners in the same time. Okay, so that's why we call it easy corners. We can fight from outside and we can always also bail away from them if needed. We have the hard corners, which are located here and here. Hard corners, just like they are hard, I need to make my way through the entry point in order to clear them, which means it's pretty much the last thing I have to do before entering the room, right? That means I'm exposing myself completely. And not only that I'm exposing myself completely, I have the following problems. The first one is that by the time I'm taking that corner over here, doesn't matter in which kind of entry you're doing, button hook, center file, whatever, my ability to bail away is reduced in comparison to easy corners. In easy corners, I'm floating outside of the room, basically, okay? The second issue I have is that hard corner here and that hard corner here in center threads, for example, often cannot be cleared in the same time. How human behavior works in this environment and how this environment itself affects our tactical capabilities, right? What is the biggest issue we have in CQB across, let's say, military or police context? Limited space. How does it affect? Flagging each other, right? Taking the guns and flagging my friends. What else? What else is a problem? I mean, we can train this, right? But what? Movement. How is this really a problem? Why? Let me ask this way. Why is this still a problem in higher level of performance? Or in other words, special forces guys ending up shooting each other and stuff like this. Why?
Movement works probably most in time until the first shot is coming.
Exactly.
And then it's like everybody, like we heard before, the human behavior, everybody is acting different.
The South African video, probably you all remember, right? The guy looking for the active shooter, he looks for him, the guy from the back looking as well, and the guy from the back was ironically the first person who was able to acquire a trajectory to the threat. He pulled the trigger, but in the same time he pulled, what happened? The guy from the front stand up and moved to his line of fire, and he capped him in the head. Was this preventable? Could we have prevented it through training? For sure, right? Muzzle before flash, online rule, exactly. This environment is forcing us to work with too many guns in a very short proximity. Second, even though we tend to think always that we will be proactive, in the end of the day we will be reactive. Why? Because the threat will not be neutralized after 1 shot or 2 shots, which probably he will be mobile, correct? Now, if a threat is being mobile and I'm focused on engaging him, I have no capability or possibility by time and place to anticipate where are additional people located or positioned. So often when we look into engagement in environments like this, or even in a house where everything is really tight, as soon as the threat starts to move or people starts to move unexpectedly, you see people flagging each other or sometimes shooting from the back. So that's, of course, you can see me, give or take, this is the shooter working zone. In other words, this will be his reactionary gap to me. So if I am within this sector, give or take 2 meters or 2 steps away from him, I will not have the possibility to anticipate his movement. If I will be here, I will not be able either to anticipate his movement, but we have a longer reaction time. Everybody understand? So for example, if I will be located right here and he will take just one step to the right, I will not be able to react because I don't have a reaction time. Make sense until now? Good. Stay in the center. Okay, we defined it, okay? It's a give or take 2 meters or 2 steps. Honestly, it doesn't have to be something very like by centimeters, okay? Just generally. Make sense until now? So if we take this environment now into room clearing inside of buildings, you can already see how dangerous it is for several shooters who might have to work in such a close proximity, right? It's called like this, earning the shot, meaning, for example, if I am standing here, and I will explain it really simple and to the point, if I'm standing here and I hear something happening there, like for example, police hands up, and the next thing I'm hearing is a gunshot from him, let's say he was doing, I don't know, a warning shot or something like this, and I'm turning around and I'm here and I see a threat, I need to earn the shot. I need to line up with him and earn the shot instead of trying from the backwards to see it. Because what we have often is that guys, they will stand somewhere or whatever, they will see a reason to shoot or deploy the weapon, and instead of getting there and getting a clear angle, they will do something like this. They will just turn around and immediately get soaked into the cover. So principle number 1, earn it, okay? Either get close to him or away from him, which we will talk about in a second, but earn it. Don't be lazy and don't just stay there and try to solve the problem from the back from your position. Make sense? Okay. Okay, everybody recognize here, what I want to do is to apply what we call the online rule. In other words, I will start to earn the shot, I will move away, and I will try to get an online with him, just like in small unit tactics, for example. Okay? Now what I want to do is the following. I want to take 2 steps away from him, and I want to online my shoulder with his shoulders. It doesn't need to be perfect, but by taking 2 steps away from him and lining up my shoulders with his shoulders, there is no chance that he will run into my line of fire. So for example, let's say that you will run sporadically to the right, okay? When I will say go. Go to the right. You see, there is no chance, even if he will bump into me, there is no chance that I will shoot from the back. However, if I would have been here, for example, and he will have that stoppage and he will make that movement again, do that movement, I don't have a reaction time. Clear for everybody? Online rule. Come here again one more time. To summarize that, gunshot, whatever, I'm earning the shot, I'm getting that trajectory, taking 2 steps away from him and I'm lining up with him. Online rule. Make sense? Good. Are there any questions about that? Good. Let's do a really quick demonstration. Here comes the next rule, and that is the muzzle before flash. All right, good. If I don't have my working space, coming in here, you will be over there. Make a quick space, make a quick circle around him. Let's go. Just some quick circle around him, and take space, like 2 steps or something like this. 2 steps away from him. Very good. Just something really simple. Okay, stop. If I am here and let's say I have here a closet, or here I have a wall, whatever, I'm very confined. Either that I will let him do it by himself because I don't want to risk him, or I will use the muzzle before flash, meaning I will get into a physical connection with him. Why? Because of the following reason. So right now, I have a pistol, right? This pistol, if used improperly, will put him in a risk, right? Because it's a shorter weapon system, correct? Good. What we see often is that if guys need, for example, in a hallway, right? If guys are working together and they have a threat to the front, there will always be the asshole from the back who is trying to do something like this. Or still have a body contact, but he's shooting from here or from here. Is this acceptable? Not at all. Why? Try to fix a stoppage in your gun right now. I can anticipate it. So what we want to do is to utilize the muzzle before flash. Principle number 1, get that muzzle beyond his flash. How it will look like this. Make sense? Good. Now, by having my arms here, the shoulder to shoulder and elbow to elbow, I create a physical barrier, like a wall. Meaning if something happens to him, something like, for example, he's pushing me to the right because he's escaping from someone, or he has a stoppage and he's just naturally doing this movement, I will naturally, even if I'm in the middle of shooting, it will bring my weapon away from him. And this is a really nice failsafe, because if I will be behind him and he will do the same movement and in the same time will shoot a threat, you saw what happened. It was very close to his face. Makes sense to everybody? This is regarding the hand. Let's talk again really quick about the hand work. I'm here behind him, okay? I am not from the back. If I have body contact from my hands or from my fingers, it's a no-go. This is an absolute no-go. The body contact has to come from the elbow or from the shoulder. Does it make sense to everybody? That's all, okay.
Rally. Bravo! Rally! Alto! Gecko! Bravo! Rally! Alto! Gecko! Bravo! Rally!